The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy is Kyle Bhawan. And man, oh man, not only is it Friday, not only is the sun shining, but the Canucks coming off of a big win against the Dallas Stars. And now, Kyle, there might be some big fireworks tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. So will the code be enforced by the Vancouver Canucks? Who might step up? And man, oh man, let's talk later on about the triplets as well. But Kyle, tonight, it sounds like Jason Dickinson himself is expecting to maybe get rocked for what he did to Filip Chytil last year. And I get it, man, because I'm still pissed about it, man. He killed the Canucks playoff odds, the Canucks playoff hopes last season. It died on March 15th, 2025, and the Canucks should still be pissed off.
Ooh, you took it a step further. Jason Dickinson's lucky that, you're not playing for the Canucks tonight, because I didn't bring up that angle or think of that angle, because I forgot about that. It seemed as if last season ended in October, but I forgot, they weren't that far away from making the playoffs as well. And with Chytil getting injured, let me set the ground out here, Kyle, because I was digging into it this morning. At the time, the Canucks won that game 6-2 over the Blackhawks on Saturday, March 15th. They were up on a playoff spot by 2 points. What? Right? So they still had a playoff spot on March 15th, 2 points ahead of Calgary and 2 points ahead of St. Louis. What? After that hit, which ended Filip Chytil's season, they lost 3 of the next 4. Kyle, you and I were at the next game, a brutal, boring 3-1 loss to the Utah Mammoth. Hey, the beer was good, though. The beer was good. Electric bicycle. One left the electric bicycle.
Yeah, that's true. One left the electric bicycle. Yeah, we had some good pregame brewskis, that's for sure. But the Canucks lost 3 of their next 4 games. Of course, Pettersson, his season ends on one of those losses, and then the Canucks were basically done after that. So, I mean, they were in playoff contention until Jason Dickinson rocks Filip Chytil into the board. So, yeah, there should be some fireworks tonight, man. And there's a code that I think Jason Dickinson's got to live up to.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he's a good old Canadian boy. Grew up on that Don Cherry, grew up on that real hockey, right? Late 80s, early 90s, former Canuck, knows what's up. And yeah, whether it be Sherwood or someone else, he's going to get it. And he deserves to get it, because not only was that a cheap shot and a dirty shot, it was a dangerous shot. Like, I guess all of the cheap and dirty shots are dangerous, but what would you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it was uber dangerous, considering that, Filip Chytil is a concussion away from, being done with hockey for real. Like that was just dirty. And again, I keep saying this. I grew up on Vince McMahon, WWE SmackDown, Law and Order, and Don Cherry. So yeah, I know it's 2025 and you're not allowed to say this, but I don't want Jason Dickinson to get his ass kicked tonight. Or, given the opportunity to defend himself, because we're talking about hockey. This is what makes our sport different. It's like football, UFC, and hockey all in one sport. And it is what it is. And honestly speaking, Trevor, like, how many times have I said it? And I know you disagree with this, because I feel like you never really add on to the statement that I'm about to make. Maybe it's because you're in the room and you're afraid to get DDT'd by Kiefer Sherwood. But I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like the Canucks are soft. They are. Like, Elias Pettersson, game 1 gets smoked. Yeah, Brock Besser, a little love tap to Mackenzie Weegar or whatever his name is after the fact. Like, that's just not good enough. You look at what was happening in the playoffs in 2024. Quinn Hughes was just getting run by Kiefer Sherwood, and nobody was doing anything. And I don't like that. And again, Trevor, to bring it back to the present, it's just not good enough for players to take liberties on Filip Chytil and have nothing happen. And I think it's good for Filip Chytil to know that he's protected. And, we could see it right now. We could see it today. And I know it's early and I know it's 2025, but it's still hockey.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think Jason Dickinson is going to have to answer the bell. I think that much is clear. But in terms of the Canucks being soft, look, before you throw me under the bus, I have not even been in there yet for a regular season game. And for a couple of practices, a couple of preseason games. So it's still early. I got lots of time to get DDT'd by Kiefer Sherwood. But Kyle, even just looking at this team, the toughness part is interesting, because they're one of the smallest teams in the league. They obviously don't fight a ton, although fighting is down across the league, but they were one of the teams who posted the most hits last season. And I know Kiefer Sherwood really elevated that total. But yeah, just looking at guys on this team, like who might Jason Dickinson have to answer the bell to? I mean, Kiefer Sherwood, I think a big reason why this is a story right now is Kiefer Sherwood said it himself. We'll get him next year. And look, maybe the Chicago Blackhawks would have avoided all of this if they just played Dickinson in the last 5 minutes of that game on March 15th, right? He plays that, he throws that hit with 5 minutes left and doesn't play another shift, right? His linements went back out there, but the coach at the time decided not to put Jason Dickinson back on the ice. So this all could have been avoided at the time on March 15th, right? But in terms of guys on the team, like, so Kiefer Sherwood said that Derek Forbort asked him to fight right after the hit. Jason Dickinson refused. And now here we are, 7 months later, and the Canucks are still looking for revenge. But I think Evander Kane's the first guy that comes to mind, right? Like, is this Evander Kane's chance to, really put his stamp on like having guys' backs on this team, right? He was, throwing his body around in that Edmonton game. Obviously, Sherwood's another guy. Tyler Myers as well. DPD's another guy with one career fight to his name. But Kyle, who in your mind, like, who is the most likely guy to step up and get in Jason Dickinson's face tonight?
Again, I think the easy answer is Kiefer Sherwood, but I kind of want to do a deep dive. And how many fights has Kiefer Sherwood been in his career? Is it like 0 or 1 or 2?
One.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Fight last season.
Yeah. But I think since he said what he said, and he's like, he is a tough player. He's a tough player. I don't know if he's like a scrapper. I think he's just smart, and he'd rather just play the game than get like sent to the box for 5+ minutes and whatnot. But I feel as if it's kind of on him as a leader to take a shot and fight Jason Dickinson. It's not like Jason Dickinson's like the toughest dude in the world. I think it would be an even fight. And Trevor, I can't believe I said that earlier, dude. I'm 32 and a half years old. I'm like, yo, Jason, I hope tonight's the night Jason Dickinson gets his ass kicked. I'm pretty sure this guy's a family and the holidays are around the corner. Man, oh man, hockey's a crazy sport. Hockey's a crazy sport. All in all, though, I think it's going to be Kiefer Sherwood. I just think it is. You talk about Evander's chance tonight to stand out as a leader and, stand on his physicality and what he could bring. And he also is a good scrapper as well. But how about like another opportunity for Kiefer Sherwood to be a leader on this team? At 29, 30 years old, late bloomer in hockey, playing for a Canadian market. He's already a fan favorite. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, this could be another moment when not only is he endearing to the fan base, but he is endearing in that locker room as one of those guys who will always have his teammates' backs. And especially with players like, again, it's Jason Dickinson. Like, we're not talking about Matt Rempe taking the shot, right? It's Jason Dickinson. So I think this could be another Kiefer Sherwood moment. Like, what if he gets what if this is a game tonight where Kiefer Sherwood gets a goal, a couple of hits, and a fight, and it's like, yo, lock this guy up this weekend. It could be a Kiefer Sherwood moment.
Damn, there you go. And Kyle, if you truly do believe this Canucks team is soft, and Kiefer Sherwood is the guy who is, saying that the Canucks should exact revenge, and the guy that's stepping up in these moments, and he's been involved in some scrums early as well. Again, it's not all about just goals and assists when you talk about hockey players, or you talk about leaders. You talk about guys that bring the intangibles. I know the nerds don't like that word, but yeah, Kyle, I think that's an interesting point, right? I mean, if Kiefer Sherwood is the guy to amplify the team's toughness, it is the guy to make sure that the Canucks enforce the code and make sure that guys who, exact dirty hits on their players, face some sort of revenge. Yeah. I think Kiefer Sherwood does become a more valuable asset to this organization. And Kyle, it's crazy to say that this guy who, was a tweener for so long, like this could be the guy to maybe get rid of the notion that the Canucks are a soft team. And again, I do find this whole soft team thing interesting because, again, a little below average in heights, above average in hits, a small team overall. But Kyle, I think what you're talking about is there's been moments over the past couple of seasons where one of our stars, takes a shot and no one really does anything about it.
Mm-hmm. It's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. That's got to stop. Canadian market, some high-end skill on this team. Oh, I guess maybe it's even more sensitive because there's not that much high-end skill on this team, actually. Like, it's like Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, when he's at his best, Filip Chytil, Boom Bam, Garland. We got to protect these guys. And yeah, here's another opportunity. Now, Trevor, I do want to get to one comment that's making me think a lot. Because before we get off of this subject, I think you and I need to hockey nerd out about philosophy and hockey culture and where we stand as men, okay? Rollins saying it's been 7 months, just win the game. Cito saying hockey is an international treasure. And Aaron Phillip, the mayor of Surrey, vote for Aaron, straight up, saying hockey fights are more symbolic than about actually hurting anyone. And yeah, Trevor, again, I don't know. Again, I read too much Deepak Chopra. Again, look at this book I have right here. It's a beautiful book. Go read it if you're going through some dark times. It's called The Return to Love, written by Marianne Williamson. Okay. Shout out to my grade 2 teacher, Miss Williams. All that being said, dude, I'm a soft dude. I'm a mother nature type of dude, right? Like I'm a spiritual dude, you know? You know what I'm saying, Trevor? And here I am, because I feel like sports sometimes brings out the worst in me. Like demanding justice, demanding physical justice. Like it's crazy, right? Like, and now I'm going to get dark, and I definitely want to see a scrap. I definitely want to see Sherwood or whoever stand up to Jason Dickinson. But the irony behind that is like, yo, I will feel so damn guilty if Jason Dickinson gets knocked out and his head lands on the ice. Like, hockey is just sometimes a stupid sport, but it's like, honestly, it's also like athletically speaking and spectacle speaking, and it's like ingrained in us to enjoy fighting. I mean, it was like, I guarantee fighting was like the first sport in the world. Like, it's just the ultimate sport, the best sport in the world. And Trevor, again, sometimes I just feel like a hypocrite or just a phony when I demand justice.
Well, that's funny. I think there's something barbaric in all of us, right? Like a lot of hockey people want fighting out of the game, right? You know, get the minor leagues banning it, and you know the rationale makes sense, right? Like you don't want kids and young adults suffering brain injuries, right? Like that stuff is traumatic. But you talk to a casual fan, you look at hockey games in general, and like fans eat it up. Fans love it. Like, you know, I love watching fights too, to be honest with you. And I think Aaron Phillip's comment is an astute one, because it's more about like just making someone, you know, pay for their action. You're not necessarily trying to go out and injure a guy. Like that's not really the intent. It's just making him, you know, face the music, for lack of a better term. And I think that's why there'll always be fights in hockey, because it's a fast game. It's a physical game. The refs can't take care of everything. So I do think players need to, you know, kind of face the music in terms of, you know, physicality sometimes if they're crossing the line themselves. I think that to me makes sense. It's what makes hockey kind of unique. Guys can still shake hands and have a beer after the game, right? Like, Kyle, you and I probably play ball hockey with guys who we've cross-checked and had, you know, spats with, and you just kind of shake it off after the game, right? So we don't always see that behind the scenes, and I think that's what makes sports so fascinating, right? Is you can kind of leave it on the ice or in the rink if you're kind of talking smack after the game. But again, this could have been resolved 7 months ago if Jason Dickinson just answered the bell then. He didn't, and now here we are talking about it, and I think the Canucks have an opportunity tonight to prove that they are not a soft team.
Ooh. Damn, Trevor. And look at this comment. Matt Friesen saying it's a frozen coliseum ready to battle. That is the sport of hockey. Is this Matt Friesen or Jeff Merrick, man? Anyway, Trevor, who we shouting out? Let's kind of preview the game coming up, and like everyone stay safe tonight, but don't stay safe. You know what I'm saying, Trevor? Let's go. Rock 'em, sock 'em. I know y'all hate Don Cherry. Sometimes I hate him too, but I grew up on Don Cherry, okay? It is what it is, and something's got to give tonight.
Amen, brother. Yeah, on the other side, I do want to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks line. Is this the Canucks' new version of the triplet line? Let's gas them up on the other side, and let's talk a little bit more about the road trip in general, okay? Because we're a few hours from game time, so let's talk a bit about Chicago, Pittsburgh, Washington, and Nashville, the upcoming opponents. That's all coming up next here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at Gametime, baby. And man, oh man, I wasn't feeling too hot about buying Canucks tickets prior to last night, but the balls are tingling again. Still need to get that checked out, but I'm
What?
blaming this one on the Vancouver Canucks. And again, hockey season's here. NFL season's in full swing. Hey, you can even catch a Major League Baseball playoff game. Whatever you're checking out, make sure you do so on Gametime, because Gametime, they get the cheapest tickets, man, because they got that lowest price guarantee. So you find tickets on another app for less, Gametime will match the difference and even give you 110% of the difference. Boom, bam, they got your back. Oh my God. And if your significant other, your family, if sports aren't the thing, you can find tickets for concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Find it all on Gametime. Plus, the closer you get to puck drop, sometimes the deals can go down to as low as 60% off. Woo! There we go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Love myself a good discount. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, get that ticket, and go, baby.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is the second best dad in the entire world, having a good time with the family, doing his best job every day to be the second best dad in the world, but the best dad in the world. And again, his children's hearts. Trevor Beggs, man, honestly, when I become a daddy, I want you to write a book for me, okay? Straight up.
Kyle, you're already my daddy, man. That's all that age and wisdom that you got on me, buddy.
Oh man, speaking of which, comment. This one comes from Dan Giardini. He's saying, "I love Marianne Williamson." Again, that's the author of the book that I just brought up. Again, welcome to Locked On Canucks. It's a library here. One love to Kevin Lankinen and Quinn Hughes for setting the tone. And Calder Capiti, we haven't seen you in a while because we've been depressing outside of yesterday, and you like to protect your peace because you read Marianne Williamson. And this person saying, I played ref hockey 1 year, and the ref and a guy in the stands were chucking knuckles over the glass. Laugh out loud. What a sport. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. But, if Jason Dickinson doesn't stand up for himself, and again, that's not going to be the case because he told Ian McIntyre it's pretty much going down. The Canucks would be taking runs at Connor Bedard today, or Frank Nazar, or you know what I'm saying, Trevor. So good on Jason Dickinson, setting the tone and stand. Like, he's already doing it. Like, he probably is starting the game. Like, they're probably going to get the scrap out of the way at the opening faceoff. So kudos to him. Let's do this though, Trevor. Again, maybe you have more fancy stats than me in front of you, but let's run a segment that we barely run because I forget to press the button. But it's when we read fancy stats here on Locked On Canucks, and we call this Canucks Cytology. Okay, these stats come from somewhere, and I'm just going to test you. I don't know. No, what? No, it's Dan Murphy tweeted out a screen grab, so I don't know where he grabbed this from. Okay?
Natural stat trick, buddy.
Okay, sorry, buddy. I don't got the $27 a month to pay for Natural Stat Trick. Okay, I'm not a daddy.
Dude,
okay,
it's for free, man. Come on, man. Shout out to Natural Stat Trick.
Anyways, here's what Dan Murphy tweeted out. I have no idea what this means. It says SAT for, SAT against, and SAT.
Okay.
And it's the triplet line that you want to talk about. So break it down, Trevor.
Yeah, first and foremost, okay, so that stat card's from NHL.com. SAT stands for shot attempts. So shot attempts for, shot attempts against. So when these guys were on the ice together, or just in general last night, when these guys were on the ice, shot attempts were roughly 16-2, something like that. I had it here on Natural Stat Trick. When all three were on the ice together at the same time, the shot attempts were 12 for the Canucks and 1 for the opposition, the Dallas Stars, man, oh man. And I'm telling you, man, these guys turned around the game last night in the first period when the Canucks were just getting dummied by the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars looking like, we're just going to score 5 goals a game. We're going to the Stanley Cup final this year. This is our year. And then this line comes out, the AHL line, Archie Baines, Linus Karlsson, Max Hassan has a great shift there. And again, the minutes weren't high for them last night. They only had 6 minutes on the ice together as a line. Each player was under 9 minutes, I believe. But they made the most of their ice time. And man, oh man, it's one game. But this isn't the first time, Kyle, that we've seen an AHL line go on to have NHL success together as a trio. And I'm not going to say these guys are the next triplet line, but I'm just saying. It's happened before, man.
Can I take a guess? Can you quiz me here? Like, what's the triplet line? Can you press the button? Because I actually want, let's, because I think I know who you're talking about.
All right, buddy. There we go, man. Trevor's Trivia here on Locked On Canucks.
Trevor's Trivia starts now.
So who was the triplet line? And correct me if I'm wrong. Like, this line was like made up in like 2016, 2017, 2018, around that time. That was a really depressing time in my life because Jim Benning was just like, you could just tell right away. Jim Benning was just so, I don't want to say what I want to say, but there was no way I was going to follow a team when that guy was the leader. Okay. So I was a part-time Canucks fan for like a year or two. Okay. Cause it was just depressing. All in all though, I think I know who the triplet line is. When you talked to me about this in the morning, I thought there was like a triplet line with the Canucks that I wasn't getting, but I think I know it's another team that you're talking about. And it's Tyler Johnson, Nikita Kucherov, and Braden Point.
You're off, man. Tyler Johnson, Nikita Kucherov, and someone not as prominent as Braden Point.
Palat?
Palat, exactly, buddy. There you go, man. There you go, Kyle. Come on,
man. That's not happening here, though. We like RSG Baines, I love you. Like, you're from Surrey, one love, and thanks for, potentially saving the city, but you're not Nikita Kucherov.
No. I'm just saying, like, I mean, those guys had a run together. They went to the 2014 Calder Cup finals, I believe it was, or the 2013 Calder Cup finals. And then they were, that line, helped Tampa Bay Lightning make the Stanley Cup finals in 2015, right? So, again, look, there's no Nikita Kucherov on that line. I think that much is there. RC Page has got a little razzle-dazzle in his game, Max Hassan, the center with some speed, kind of like Tyler Johnson. No, I know I'm grasping at straws here, but look, there's been other lines too. Again, I want to dive deeper into this, but some of the lines I found, you got like the Dylan Larkin, Anthony Mantha, Tyler Bertuzzi had some success in the AHL, went to have some chemistry in the NHL. But again, you're talking about some first round picks there, right? You have an undrafted Archdeep Baines, Linus Karlsson drafted in the 3rd round by the Sharks, traded to the Canucks, takes years to develop. And of course, Max Sasson, another undrafted free agent. But look, some of the other guys like Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, Riley Smith, that was a looser AHL connection, but Karlsson and Marchessault specifically played together in the minors. There was also lines like Mikhail Granlund, Jason Zucker, Charlie Coyle. Again, all top prospects. That one is a little different as well. And then there's lines too like TJ Oshie, David Prawn, and Patrick Berglund. Again, all players who played in the AHL on the same line together. And then, had some success in the NHL with the St. Louis Blues. There's also examples out there like, Charles Hudon, Daniel Carr, Sven Andrighetto, guys who had some modest NHL success, but were just a unit in the AHL together. So, I mean, of course, that's a more likely outcome for a line like this, but I'm just saying it made sense for there to be some hesitancy about this Abbotsford line working together. I mean, none of these guys have a lot of NHL experience, but they have chemistry together. And Kyle, you know it, man, whether it's a relationship, whether it's, someone on your ball hockey team, whatever it is, chemistry matters, man. And these guys clearly have some chemistry together. And man, oh man, like what a start for them to have that kind of performance again in limited minutes against a great Stars team. And I'm just curious, man, if they can keep this up. Because again, maybe they're not the next triplets, but I'm getting some triplets energy from these guys. Let's go, baby.
Well, chemistry is just an advantage. Like the cohesiveness, the familiarity, it takes the pressure off these young players when it comes to like having to prove themselves and having to do so much to stick around and having their dreams come true and all that jazz, knowing that at least when they have to, face all those obstacles, they have familiarity around them. Like they know where players are going to be. And those guys have played a lot together and they've had so much success. And Trevor, like, just to like water it down a bit again, I was so high yesterday, like a high off Pettersson, like everything was like, we're winning the Stanley Cup and this is the best 4th line in hockey, boom, bam. Like the fact that they had so much success against Dallas, that's beautiful. Dallas is a deep team. They're a pro team. They're Western Conference favorite. Like I'm not going to take that lightly. Like good on those guys for doing that much damage in limited time against the Dallas Stars. That being said, like, I don't know if you can pull it up, like, but who were they up against? Like, more often than not when they were playing for like their 8 to 9 minutes in that game. Like not even just the forward lines. I don't know if you can pull it up because I'd never looked at natural hat trick statology or whatever. But even the defensemen that they were playing against, I'd be curious because I don't know. Like if you tell me some strong names here, I'm going to guarantee that these guys are going to score a goal tonight in Chicago.
Yeah, no, for the majority of their minutes, I mean, they saw a mix of the Dallas defenders, but they largely played against a third pair, right, of Alex Petrovic and Leon Bichel.
Okay.
Let's see, Max Sasson might have been a bit different. He had like a minute of extra ice time, but yeah, it was the weaker defenseman, right? But still, all you can do is make the most of your minutes. Like Leon Bichel is still an NHL player, right? You know, former first round pick, you know, played some Stanley Cup playoff games last season. Alex Petrovic has just been in the league a long time. Again, it was still guys that just made the most of their minutes. So you can't fault them for who they've been playing against. And that's what a good coach does. He finds the match, especially on the road. It can be tougher to do that, right? The opposing team's head coach on the road will see like, oh, it's our weaker guys. He might try to get his best guys, but sometimes you want your lesser guys playing in those minutes. Now, what's interesting too last night actually is the top line that faced off against Max Sasson, Arshdeep Bains, and Linus Karlsson there. Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, Tyler Seguin, right? Those are three pretty damn good players. So even though maybe the defense pair wasn't stellar, I mean, the fact that it was those guys playing against Sasson, Karlsson, and Bains, and then getting their rear ends handed to them, getting pinned in their own zone. I mean, that says something about those two guys right there. The new triplets for your Vancouver Canucks.
It does. It does. Like, look. See, seriously, like, look how happy we are right now, man. Do you see what happens here when Pettersson just tries his ass off? You see what happens, dude? Everyone just plays better. Everyone just like, falls into place. The trickle down effect, Trevor. I need you to do research, man. On your next Daily Hive article, what is the trickle down effect? Elias Pettersson edition. Anyways, good luck tonight to the boys. I know we got one more segment here, but again, if that fourth line could do it against Dallas, I'm curious to see what they could do against Chicago. And I wouldn't be surprised, there's some skill there, right? There's some skill there. They can make a nice play and, set the tone for the rest of the season.
Amen to that, brother. Let's wrap up here. Let's do an ad read, shout out a sponsor. Wrap up the show on the other side. Let's get to a comment. Maybe I'll tell you one thing I've learned about the Canucks' next 4 opponents here on the road. That's all coming up here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here. NHL season is here. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs are here as well. And you can get in on all the action on FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your $5 bet wins. Go use the app. It's so easy to use. Even I can use it. And man, oh man, it doesn't happen often. The team on the second night of back-to-backs on the road being the favorite. But that's the case tonight here with the Vancouver Canucks, even though they're going against the Chicago Blackhawks team that, just scored 8 goals in their last game. 2-2-1, a bit of a better start to the season. So, Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar, these guys looking spicy. The Canucks still the favorites. Let's see if they can live up on that. In terms of goal scores for tonight, you get the usual up at the top of the list. Elias Pettersson, the odds are just are going up in terms of him getting his first goal. He was plus 300 to get his first goal last night, now plus 250 tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. If you're liking Kiefer the Reefer Sherwood to get back on the score sheet, he's plus 450. That's an interesting one as well. Again, whatever bet you're placing, go do it on FanDuel. What are you waiting for? Go visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One love to you and you and you and you. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us that West Coast bias. One love to Trevor Beggs again for being the second best dad in the world. You got to appreciate fatherhood, parenthood, and one love to Mother Nature for bringing out the sun today. But yeah, speaking of you and you and you, let's read some comments. Look at this, okay? Matt Friesen saying Pettersson is the gas pedal and Hughes is the engine. Ooh, what does that make Demko, though? And don't say glue. I think of something else, Trevor. Get creative. Like, look at your daughter's artwork behind you. Like, think like her. Be a little abstract, okay? What is Demko to this team?
Demko is the steering wheel. He's keeping the car on the road, man. He's keeping the car on the road. You know, if Demko's not in net, I think that steering wheel is getting a little loosey-goosey. Someone's put too much WD-40 on that bad boy. But when Demko's driving the car, man, oh man, you know it's going to go in the right direction.
Ooh, okay. Next comment. Man, oh man, that was a good one, Trevor. You creative, man. Now I know where your daughter gets it from, man. Straight up. What did I want to say? I saw what did I start? Sorry, I'm not the best at reading this comment. Okay, Sensei Dean, okay, saying Chicago has some big weighty guys this year. I haven't done like a deep biography check on the Chicago Blackhawks, but all in all, like going into tonight's game, and one love Sensei for the comment. I think, and again, we're the Canucks, so we shouldn't take any team lightly. I mean, we're almost like the Buffalo Sabres. Like, check the stats. But as a fan, I'm not looking at, even if, like, you know, when you're mapping out the road trip, you're like, oh, yeah, we could win it against Chicago. To me, it's still a 50-50 game. Because, A, we're the Canucks, and B, Chicago's, I don't know, like, it's early in the season, and you best believe some of their guys are going to get better, including Connor Bedard, who's, like, you know, in my eyes, still a generational guy. And I don't know, they seem a little bit more competitive. I saw an interview with Nazar and Bedard with the TNT panel. And I don't know, I'd love if some Canucks players gave an interview like that, talking about their team and their belief, like their internal belief. No, for real. They weren't talking like they were like, oh, we're an up-and-coming team when we're young. We got learning lessons. Like, no, they were talking about how, like, we're going to stand up for each other. We don't give a shit. And we're going to be better than what people think. And, you know, they kicked the Chicago St. Louis Blues ass a couple days ago. So tonight's going to be a tough game, whether it be physically or just like in attempting to win this game.
Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be easy, Kyle, right? The Chicago Blackhawks team is, I think, better than they've been in the past. I know they're still projected to be the worst team in the league by some metrics, but look, I'm still a big believer in Connor Bedard that he's going to figure it out. Now he's got some help. Like, Frank Nazar looks like a legit player. Boom, now you got your 1-2 at center. And in net too, like, it's, you know, no offense to Peter Mrazek, but Spencer Knight's a higher caliber goaltender. And so far earlier in this season, he's got a .920 save percentage in his 3 starts. So, look, I think the Canucks, they've beaten the Blackhawks in 10 straight games, but they cannot take them lightly tonight. I don't think they will. It's a second night of back-to-back. It's still early in the season. The Canucks still haven't put together a 60-minute effort, but this isn't going to be an easy contest tonight. And, you know, I'm looking for just the Canucks to keep their foot on the gas pedal. And Kevin Langen is going to be the one that's likely steering that car tonight for the Vancouver Canucks. So hopefully, again, not that he was bad against the Blues, but hopefully a bit of a bounce-back performance for him as well.
Well, again, we're just the Vancouver Canucks, like back-to-back games for this club. Considering that, like, even me, you know, if like, this may be a surprise, but after watching last night's episode, I'm about to say something and you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm not convinced Elias Pettersson's back. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know, like when you have a one-night stand with you know, and not, baby, if you're listening to this, I'm being met. This is AI, okay? This is AI. If my girlfriend's watching this is AI. But you know when that happens and you're like, in the moment, you're like, oh yeah, it's the girl of my dreams. Like, it could happen and then you wake up the next morning, you're like, you just got a little, you know, I had a good time. You guys had a good time. Hey, everything's bigger in Texas, you know? That's what I'm saying. But again, I'm not convinced that Pettersson's back. So, like, these games are going to be tough. And because they're going to be tough, I think it'd be nice. And I wouldn't be very depressed. Like, let's say the Blackhawks kick our ass tonight, but Lankinen gets us the win, you know? That'd be frustrating. But at the same time, that would be nice. Not just because of the 2 points, but I want to see it early that Kevin Lankinen can repeat what he did last year early on in the season. So, yeah, it's a big game for Kevin Lankinen, man. Trevor, you want to preview the road trip before I hit what the puck? Like, do it really quickly because I do want to talk about something else.
Yeah, I'll just give you one thing I've learned about every team so far earlier in the season. So the Canucks got the Washington Capitals after the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. The Washington Capitals, I think, have been unlucky not to score more so far. They're generating some of the most chances in the league, but they only have 9 goals through 4 games. The goaltending's helped them to a 3-1 start as well. What's next after that? The Pittsburgh Penguins, a high event hockey team. They're actually still generating a lot as well. I also learned that Ben Kindle, man, he wasn't, you know, a lot of people thought it was a reach at 11th or 12th overall where Pittsburgh got him, and he's got his first career goal. The fantasy stats are good for him. So maybe Pittsburgh's found a nice little gem there. Also, one that Archer Shilovs has been a bit up and down after a shutout on the first night. So we'll see how the Archer Shilov experience continues or if he'll face his former team next week. finally, the Nashville Predators. I watched a good chunk of their game against the Montreal Canadiens last night. I'm surprised about how many young guys they got on defense, like the Spencer Stastnys, the Justin Barron, some other guy I didn't even recognize. Still a young team, and I think they are off to an okay start record-wise, but overall, I don't think this is a very good hockey team, so hopefully the Canucks can take advantage of them.
So you think the Canucks are going to win the next 4 games? That's what I heard here on Locked On Canucks. Anyway, so let's hit What the Puck and get out of here. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button, support the show, support our lives and our wives. And What the Puck here on Locked On Canucks.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
Ito, this WIS a Canucks show.
Somebody in the comments hit me up with something saying something amongst the lines of like, how about the New York Rangers? How about the New York Rangers? And I know, like, everyone's getting tired of the JT Miller thing. I'm getting past it too because Elias Pettersson's quote unquote back. I almost choked myself. No, straight up. But I just want to bring this point up because the Rangers are quote unquote struggling, but I feel like they might be like Washington where they're still getting good chances, just not scoring goals and all that jazz and whatever, right? I'm not going to talk that much shit, but I don't know, like the more and more, because like yesterday I was consuming so many hockey highlights before I went to bed, and the more and more I thought about it, and you brought this up like weeks and weeks or maybe months ago, like there are kind of like so many similarities between, like maybe not stylistically and like player wise, but again, so many similarities between the aura, the energy, the narration around the Rangers and the Canucks.
Yeah, no, 100%. And both teams, I think, are in a situation where there's flaws of the team, and they're going to have to rely heavily on having some of the best goaltending in the league to get them through it, right? Like, one thing I'll give the Rangers credit for, and this is very early sample size early on in the season, but in terms of expected goals for in tied situations, the Rangers are 3rd overall in the NHL, and the Canucks are last. Again, it's a very small sample size. But it shows me, and we've seen it, right? The Canucks have been dummied early in games by St. Louis, by Dallas, by Edmonton, right? It's happened in the last 3 games. Whereas the Rangers have at least been generating chances in tied situations still. So I think that's one thing that the Canucks are going to have to change if they want their fortunes to be better. So I think JT Miller's got a point where he says, like, don't panic yet. And I did like when he said that comment about like you'd be mentally weak to be bothered by this or change your game. It's like, I wonder if he said that before in other locker rooms. But anyways, the Rangers are still a flawed team. The Canucks are a flawed team, and I am curious to follow both these teams this season to see who kind of overcomes their deficiencies more.
Yeah, 100%. And just on that note, like maybe we should do this like closer to when the Canucks play the Rangers at the end of the month, because a part of me wants these two teams to be like, if not good, it's like still in the fight, still in the battle. Like I want that game to be big standing wise, even though it's in October. All that being said, when we get closer to that date, I kind of want to go back in time and ask ourselves the questions like what happens if JT Miller is actually named captain of this team? Anyways, Trevor, what does this mean right here? And then sign out. This is coming from who's the stat? I don't know who made this graphic. My bad. But Trevor, can you just...
It looks like it's data-driven hockey. So it's saying that the top 2 goalies in the league in terms of goals saved above expected are Igor Shesterkin and Thatcher Demko, the 2 goalies on my Locked On Canucks Fantasy Hockey League. Thank you very much. But really what it means is, let's say the Rangers have allowed, or they've allowed 10 goals this season, and Igor Shesterkin has a 6-point whatever goal saved above expected. It's saying that based on the chances the other team generated, they should have scored 16 goals, but they only scored 10. So Igor Shesterkin has saved 6 goals above expected. And again, Thatcher Demko as well. He's just been lights out so far. So that one, I think it's a good metric because it's better than just save percentage in the sense that it doesn't just account for shots on net. It accounts for the quality of chances that the other team's getting. And again, based on, diving into that data, slap me with the calculator, Kyle. Ooh! It's saying that Thatcher Demko, Igor Shesterkin, the best 2 goalies in the league. And man, oh man, I'm just I'm thrilled to have the best goalie in the league on my team, and I'm thrilled to have the best co-host in the world on my team as well. Kyle Bhawan, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Trevor Beggs. If you like what we're doing, go like and subscribe on YouTube on the podcast. You can follow us. If you feel so kind, you can also leave a 5-star review on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. One of us, both of us, none of us. So one of us will be back with the postcast tonight here on Locked On Canucks. Canucks play the Blackhawks. We'll talk to you soon here on Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.